Welcome back to Swag Savvy with Eric and Eric. Today I'm going to actually interview Eric. He successfully managed an entire campaign for an auto parts company, and this campaign was very large. He had to distribute promotional products to multiple racetracks around the country. It involved promotional products, distribution, printing, a whole 9 yards, and there's a lot to it, so let's just get right to it. We're going to do a deep dive into the planning, execution, and distribution of the entire process. So let's just start right at the very beginning. So when you first started working with the auto parts company, how did it all start, considering budget, their needs, and so on?
Well, it's a program they participate in that has 50 tracks across the USA, and they wanted to connect with the actual race car drivers and the fans. So we put together a budget, and what that entailed was we were going to have some large items as well as some smaller, inexpensive items. So they had a whole lot of quantity of promo giveaways to hand out to the fans and prizes for the racers.
So did you start out first, obviously the first thing you probably started out with is budget and their goals. So how did you determine the budget? Did you get that straight right away?
Yeah, they had a budget they wanted to spend, and we knew that we had that number of 50 tracks. And we knew that we wanted to have multiple different products to give away. So we kind of just did some math and ended up selecting a couple inexpensive items and a couple more high-end items, and all combined ordered quantities that fit their total budget.
So they gave you an overall budget, and the hard part I would think of is you had to figure out of all the different parts and pieces that you need to purchase, from the shipping costs to what type of items. They gave you one total amount, and then you had to figure out all the minutia and break it all down.
Yep, and the key was they wanted it to be hands off as far as they were concerned. They wanted it to be a turnkey program where they kind of just put their budget out there, looked at all the items that we proposed and selected, and then had it be turnkey as far as shipping, fulfillment, everything. So
once they set the budget, did they stick with it? Like, okay, here's our budget, or during the process did they throw you a curveball and change things up?
No, they stuck with it because they were happy with the PDF presentation that we gave them, which gave them options as far as the products, but they stuck close to their budget. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about the fun part now, which I enjoy, is the research and finding the right promotional products. And always the key, obviously, with well, maybe not obvious, but with promotional products is having a high perceived value and making sure that you have an affordable product, but that it seems like it's more valuable than it is, and that it's good quality. So what's the process in trying to figure out what promotional products to even use?
Well, along with the price consideration, we had discussions on the fan base at these racetracks and who they were, what their demographics were, what items that we felt they would gravitate and really like. So knowing who the person was that was going to be getting the giveaways with their logo, the company's logo on them,
so
that was a big topic, and we tried to nail that and figure out what those people would like based on
So
who
for
they
this
were.
particular one, it was for an auto parts manufacturer that was marketing to, were they marketing to the race car drivers?
They were marketing to both. So the program entailed giving prizes, promo product prizes to the race car drivers. So the track would hand those out. They were able to pick, a winner on a certain night, and they kind of named the race to that company's name that particular night. But then also they did giveaways to the fans, like the first 50 people that entered the gate got a giveaway. So these were all we had.
So racetrack drivers, their mechanics and crew, but also even the fans were also part of the marketing there.
Yes, so our discussions were obviously the race car drivers wrench on their own cars, buy products that this company makes, but they also know the fans that attend these races are, kind of shade tree mechanics, do-it-yourselfers is what they are termed in the industry. And they buy a lot of products for their vehicles where they work on themselves. So the market was perfect to hit both of those at one race.
So like what products, this is a good example because there's different criteria, whether it's a pharmacist association or, whatever, but we're talking about auto parts and race car drivers and their fans. So like what types of products did you find out works for those?
So obviously the one was t-shirts. Auto parts people, mechanics, people that like cars, whether it's their daily driver, whether it's a muscle car, they love supporting companies that provide products that they use. So everyone in the demographic of the fans as well as the racers, they love to have t-shirts with that company's name on the front of them, and they will wear those things until they have holes in them, which is great exposure for the company because they'll wear those things for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years.
The big question I always come up with when dealing with apparel, especially t-shirts, is okay, so they're for race car drivers and fans. People are all different shapes and sizes. So how do you decide how to distribute? Like, do you just are all large?
Well, what we did was we gave the tracks a quantity that had a variety of sizes. So then they were able to have those at their disposal. If they selected a race winner, they said, hey, what size t-shirt do you want? And they had a box full of them to hand out, to pick from. One thing we did learn along the way, because we've been working with this company for quite a while, is a lot of kids come to the races. So we wanted to incorporate some mediums, some smalls, t-shirts, that they could include the kids and make them feel part of these, giveaways as well.
So besides the shirts, then what other types of products did you find fit for this group of people?
So a couple that we've done over the years is a lot of these racetracks do night races. They race on Friday nights, Saturday nights. So what we came up with was a product that was like a yellow tinted safety glass, where we were able to put their company logo on the side of the arm of the glasses, and they handed those out at their night race. And when you go to these races, if you've ever been, a lot of debris and dust and things like that kind of shoot up, especially if it's a dirt track race, they shoot up into the crowd. So these protective yellow tint glasses, which kind of cut the glare of the lights and all that, were a big hit.
And you can find halfway decent prices when you're getting nice glasses like that?
They're over a couple bucks a piece. So the perceived value, like you mentioned earlier, was really good. The other product that we had good success with was mini coolers, because a lot of these tracks will, obviously they have concession stands, but they do allow people to bring in their own coolers. And they were nice small ones. They worked perfect for a couple hour event. Once again, had the company's colors and logo on the front of them.
And the logo. So what's cool about that is, like, I imagine with the racing glasses, or you're talking about the logo, would have to be like really small along the temple. But what's good about, so far you're talking about t-shirts and then insulator bags, cooler bags. Even if it's a smaller cooler bag, your logo's about that big.
Yep, and so there's different bag cooler sizes. We picked kind of a 6-pack size, but the company that provided those gives us the dimensions of what the logo can be imprinted, kind of the max dimensions. And most clients that we deal with, including this one, said, well, let's just make it as big as we can make it in the given imprintable area.
But so what other type of things did you use? Did you use beverage insulators, or hats, or what other type of stuff?
We did. So since we've done this program for several years, we keep it some of the same, but we change the products up a little bit. We've done the can insulators. One of the other cool products that we selected, which was the same price point as the can insulators, is a cup coaster. And what that is, it's kind
of related to the auto parts industry.
Yep. It's a neoprene. We picked a neoprene fabric, so you put them in your car cup holder, and in the summertime when your cups have a bunch of
sweat and stuff on them,
from the humidity, it kind of soaks it up. And we were able to put their logo on those, and those were a big hit, because people put them, they get them as a giveaway at the track.
I use
go
them
back
in my
to their
car.
They put them in there, and they're just like t-shirts. Those cup holders, are literally there for years. They really don't wear out.
When I was talking about, the t-shirts and the sizes, how do you handle the fact that everybody has different size heads? How do you handle that with the hats?
Well, the hats are fairly easy.
Are they like universal size, like adjustable?
We did what they call strap back, which strap back hats are adjustable, in multiple sizes. So they work for kids, they work for adults. They were a quality item. They had the mesh back, which when you go to these races in the summertime, you know, it's 90 degrees out there, even in the afternoon, evening. So they were a good fit. The color scheme.
When you put the logo on there, do you try to do something where it's not just the standard, like right in the center of the hat? Is there like more of a kind of like a cooler way to put a logo on the hat?
Once again, we mixed it up from year to year. We put it in the center on a couple years, but then what we did on other years was we put, and if you follow racing, you'll see a lot of the professional race car drivers will put it on the lower half of either the right or left. So the logo is kind of right there.
And did you do like, sorry I keep interrupting, but this stuff's super interesting for me because I love promo. So when you're doing a hat, for instance, is screen printing okay? Because that's a lot more affordable than, like this is full color embroidery. And you're probably doing what, like 5,000 or more hats?
We did, I think we did like 1,500 hats.
So just with like one color screen printing?
One color screen printing. Once again, since we've done this program for a few years, we mixed it up. On one year, we went and spent a little bit more on hats. Went with a cotton hat that had a Velcro adjustable back,
nice.
Which is different than snapback, but it's Velcro, can be adjusted tight or larger. And those we did embroidered. And for that embroidery, we did full color logo for the company's logo. So a black hat with their full color logo in that lower left corner. And that was, they were reasonably priced. They were more than the other ones, but the perceived value was great because when fans get those, they felt like they were wearing a hat just like the professional race car drivers wear.
So you mentioned you did black t-shirts. So did you stick with like one color so that you could do like a white imprint, I assume? Did you stick with all black?
We went with black t-shirts is because of who the audience is. They're, you know, guys that wrench on their own car, the race car drivers, and when you're around cars, there's always oil, there's always dirt, you're leaning over it, you're getting them dirty. So with black t-shirts, the black kind of hides a lot of that versus something that's a white color or a light gray or something like that. The black worked a little bit better for this audience.
So you have probably like 3 or 4 different promo items and you're sending them to the track. Do you like put them all in a package or in a bag, or do you put them like for instance when you had the cooler, you put everything inside the cooler, or how do you do that?
What we did was we took kind of a large cardboard box and we placed everything in there. So we placed the hats, the shirts, the can coolers, the coolers, which were of material that actually folded down. So they collapsed really well. We also did decals, pens, and notepads. So we were able to put those all in a regular size shipping box in the quantities that we needed.
You're shipping multiple boxes to each track location?
It ended up, we were able to fit everything in one box. All these swag items were shipped in one box.
Oh, so it's up to them once they get all the products, they separate them out and how they're going to distribute them.
Yes, the only thing we did separately, and I know we're going to talk about this, is banners.
Right.
We did banners, but for the convenience of it, is we worked and shipped those direct, rolled up. In a long tube style box, because with a cardboard shipping box, we would have had to fold the banners, and that tends to put a little crease in them.
How did you make sure the banner could hold up to weather, because they're out there all year, right?
Yep.
And then also to make sure that the colors pop and the type of material, the banner, and things like that.
So what we did was had conversations with the customer, with the manufacturing company, and we did some research and saw some photos of these tracks showing all the banners from all the sponsors that they have, and said, listen, it's worth the money to put some of the budget to have the largest banner of all their other sponsored banners. So we saw what all the other
most of them were like, what were most of them?
A lot of them
3
are,
foot by 5 foot type?
Yeah, 3 foot by 5 foot.
That's not really all that big.
Yeah, it's not that big. That's a standard size banner. They all hang them on the fences around the track area.
So you went with what size then?
So we ended up going with a 4 by 11 banner.
Oh, wow.
So their logo, this company's logo, is a horizontal logo, so it fit very well on that long banner. And when we saw it later on of the tracks hanging it up, it really stood out.
And that is,
all the other
that
ones.
is
And that's
something-
what they wanted. That was one of their goals. Like, hey, we want people to see this. And what you had to consider, we knew the facilities that they were hanging these at. Obviously, these racetracks are, quarter mile, half mile tracks, but they're large pieces of land. So if they hang them on the fences and people are sitting in the stands, those banners are kind of a far, distance from where the fans and everyone are seated. So you want to have
put
something
much small text on it. You probably just have their big logo and maybe a couple of words.
Yep.
Nice full color. Well, that's the other thing that's
Full
great
color.
about banners, like this banner right here. With a vinyl banner, do you have to consider like the thickness of probably like a standard like 13-ounce vinyl banner?
So the banners, what you'll find online is there's cheap banners out there, but they are not meant for outdoor use. There's different qualities and thicknesses of vinyl, and we figured that out. We wanted a quality vinyl, a thickness, and we wanted metal grommets, and we wanted it stitched, double stitched all the way around, because these things are hung up in the spring, where the racing season begins, and they're up there all summer long, and most people will leave them up all year. Some tracks will take them down.
You can get them in like really good, full color, high quality.
Yeah, the printing on that vinyl.
It sounds like really,
incredible.
isn't it? Wouldn't that be cost prohibitive? I mean, that sounds really expensive.
It's actually not. Banners, the nice part about banners is you can choose exactly which size you need based on your logo size, because essentially they're priced on square foot. So if you want a standard size 3x5, those are pretty common, but if you need something custom, that can be done as well.
Were the banners, so it's a large banner, and so were they like, $150 a banner or $50 a banner, or?
What we ended up doing was we because like I said earlier, they wanted this program to be turnkey. So we included everything, included the box, the tube style box. We included the shipping cost, but the banner itself was very, very reasonably priced. Considering the return on investment and the return on value, that this thing was going to be hanging up
That's true.
all year long, all race season long.
I've seen storefronts that use them as their sign and they leave them up for years. It's amazing.
For years. But then you could
But okay, so the banner, and then it's rolled, put into a tube, and shipped. So. So and do you put like a couple of banners in a tube or one banner?
Well, working back to their budget, we ended up doing 2 banners per track.
Okay, so but like if it was one banner and a tube, full color, that size, high quality, grommet stitched and all that, like roughly, are we talking like $100 a banner or $50 a banner?
They were less than $50 a banner.
Wow.
Which for that size is a good price.
Yeah.
And what we talked about with the client is the return on value. I mean, that banner, you want some quality piece, and it's going to hang it up there all year round. Now, you mentioned going some of these, you'll see stores with banners up. If they don't use a quality product, you'll see these things kind of ripped and torn up, and that's the difference,
Okay, so the distribution, real quick on that, is so you have multiple racetracks all over the country, right?
Yep.
And it sounds like you're shipping the banners in tubes directly.
Yep.
And then I know a lot of times the manufacturer will even do that part, or you can do it yourself. But so those ship individually to the tracks. You just make sure you have the right contact name and stuff.
Yep.
But then, so separately though, you ship one like box or however you need to each track then?
Yeah, what we did was because the customer wanted this turnkey, they wanted to be hands off, is we provided that service that got everything ordered, combined everything here at our facility, packed it all up, got it shipped out according to the dates that we were given that they wanted to receive the packages. In this case, they all went UPS.
Okay.
They all went out
you don't have to
to
worry
arrive
about,
when the customer wanted them to arrive.
So looking back for things you've done this same thing for several years in a row.
We have. Yeah.
So you've got it buttoned down. So you're a perfect person to talk about what about like, okay, you ship it and it's going to a big expansive place like a racetrack, or I guess it's probably they have offices, but have you ever had to worry about them not receiving your shipments?
No, because we always emphasize that.
Of course, you have tracking numbers too.
We have tracking numbers, but we always make sure that we have a particular person's name that is on the shipping label that says attention so-and-so. And of course, we have their phone numbers, and if there's a problem, we can follow up with them.
So, and this would apply to any industry, people doing even one trade show at one location. But I like the aspect we're talking about, the multiple locations, because it adds a little bit more interest to trying to figure out how you handle it. So, is there any particular advice you would offer somebody that, I'm getting ready to tackle this thing where I've got a budget of, whatever, $20,000, and I need to make the best decisions on multiple products, and is there any advice that you can give somebody that's about to endeavor this whole project?
In this particular case, my number one piece of advice would be to start the process early, because with these different products, you're talking t-shirts, coolers, can coolers, banners. As a promo products company, each company kind of specializes in a particular product. So when we get all these items ordered for you, they're coming from different places. Each of those places has a different lead time. The banners, for example, they can turn those things around and have them shipped usually within a few days or within the same week. So that's a quick turnaround. Some other companies might need, 5 to 7 business days. Some might need 10 business days.
All right.
Different times of year are different.
So besides the production time, which might take, a week,
yes,
you have to consider, is it coming from somewhere that has like a 4-day ship away, or even sometimes if it's coming from overseas. So
some of it comes from overseas.
Early. So you get it all in early so you're comfortable and safe that you're not, with promo products especially, you don't want to wait till the last second then.
Yep, because this process of, starting with a budget, presenting, the products that you can pick from, getting it all ordered. It's a process, and so that's my number one piece of advice is you got to start early and to accommodate for the different time frames.
Any last tips you'd offer somebody if they're getting ready to get started on something like this?
That's what we specialize in is helping people. Yep. From the budget to picking products. Of course, you can try to do it yourself, but as we explained, all just now, it takes a lot of time. And so
working with an experienced promotional products company that handles everything from the banners to the coolers to every different type of product, and can give you presentations explaining pricing and comparison and ordering in samples and things, I imagine is pretty important.
Yeah, because a lot of people nowadays, what we found is, people that handle things like this, they're wearing multiple hats. Their responsibilities in their company, what they're doing.
Like, I'm the graphic designer, so now I'm supposed to have to know everything about printing and promo, and don't forget distribution and shipping and working your budgets. Yeah,
right. They're handling advertising. They're having trade shows set up. They're handling, marketing events. They're handling it, advertising. So the service that we can provide is helps them and eases their mind and takes that workload off of them and puts it on us.
So if you're working with a good promotional products company that can encompass a wide range of things, you can pretty much just say, look, man, here's my budget. You tell me what kind of items. I'll just kind of tell you, okay, it's going to racetrack drivers or it's going to podiatrists or whatever, and let the promotional products company help you come up with the ideas. That's really
this
great.
was just a good example to talk about because this was a fairly intricate project, but since we've done it for many years, we kind of, have mastered it and done along the way. But some of your needs out there might just be where you need one item or 2 items, whether it's just a pen and a notepad or a pen and a folder for a conference or a show. So those might not be as complicated, but same thing. You can take the workload off you and get you exactly what you need.
So if you're watching this, if you'd like expert advice and you want to work directly with experts with swag and all the things we talked about, just shoot us an email at swagsavvy@gmail.com.
Right there on your screen.
Stay savvy.